Did you know that the market is actually bouncing back? I didn't know that. I thought it was getting worse, but according to some agents, not all, some agents, the market is getting back to normal. It's going to be business as usual, and the worst part is actually over. Now, in this video, I'm going to look at 3 ways some agents are spinning stats in their own favor to make it look like the market is not as bad as it actually is. So let's get started with number one. But before I do that, I just want to be very, very clear. This is not every agent. Like most agents, large majority of agents will tell you the truth, but there's always a small percentage, every industry has them, that will try to kind of just like spin the stats in their own favor to make it look like it's not as bad as it actually is. Spin number one is inflation is down. Yes, technically they are correct. Inflation is down. You probably remember inflation was at its highest at 8.1%. That was like decades high. And then it dropped to 7.6%. So yes, they are telling the truth. Inflation is down because they're like, hey, you remember Bank of Canada wanted to control inflation. That's why they were raising the rates. Good news, inflation's down, so things are back to normal, and let's go up, buy and sell. That is only half the truth. And the real truth, I think, that needs to be mentioned is this just came out on September 8th. This is straight from the Bank of Canada website. They're talking regarding inflation. Getting inflation all the way back to 2% will take some time. We also know there could be bumps along the way. We have a careful eye on many different things. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and we will not rest easy until we get inflation back to target. Back to target is 2%. So yes, inflation is down, but is nowhere close to where they want to be. So what does that say? It means that probably they're going to keep raising the rates. So I think if you're going to, say inflation is down, maybe just give the whole truth and people can make up their own mind, which way they want to go. Number two, spin is August was busier than July. Yes, once again, technically that is true. August was busier than July, but I think they failed to leave us some important stats that are relating to that August stat. Number one thing to remember is July was like the slowest July we've had in 20 plus years. So to be just a little bit busier than that is not really saying much. And secondly, August was still the second slowest month of the year. If you compare even to January, it was even slower than January, which is historically low. Like winter season is always the slowest season of the year. So yes, like as I mentioned before, it is only half the truth. August was busier than July, but maybe just throw this stat in there as well, that it is still the second slowest month of the year. Now, if September, October, November are even busier than August, then yeah, that is something we can look at, because then that's considered a bit of a trend, so maybe then we can revisit this chart at that time. But right now, just by slightly higher, I don't think it's fair to say the market is bouncing back, because what I did was I also compared percentage drops since the peak of the market. So this is number of sales, this is not prices. So percentage drop since the peak of the market this year. Halton is down 48%. Peel is down by half. Toronto is down by 52% in terms of number of homes sold. York and Durham are down 45%, 42%. And overall, the whole market in general is down about 49% in terms of number of homes sold compared to the peak of the market, which was like February and March. So I think if you're going to say August was busier than July, yes, that is true. But maybe just throw this in there as well, just so people know exactly what's going on in the market, because it's a little sneaky to maybe, just present the positive stuff only. The third spin I'm seeing out there is prices are still higher than last year. Yes, once again, that is true. Prices are still higher than last year. But I think it's also important to see like how much higher or how much lower are they. Sorry, let me pull this chart back. Okay, so what I did was I'm comparing this year, which is in yellow, and I'm comparing to last year's prices, 2021. But if you look at like January, February, and March, the gap between this year and last year was a lot higher than the gap is right now in June, July, August. I would say July and August, they're neck and neck. So I think this argument, when some people say the prices are still higher than last year, it's not really going to be valid for too long, because I think if we revisit this chart maybe in a couple of months, October, November, probably the way it's going, probably the prices are going to be lower than what they were last year. So Once again, technically it is true. Prices are still higher than last year, but it's not the whole truth, because if you see, the gap has been narrowing month by month ever since March and April. And also, I think it might be an interesting stat, yes, when prices are higher than last year, but it doesn't really help me, because if I'm thinking of selling my house today, I want to know what the other houses are selling for in the past couple of weeks, maybe in the past month, right? Because if they're selling for like 1.2 in the past month, that kind of dictates my market value, so I need to know, okay, I can probably sell around 1.2 or so. Is it worth it to sell or not? But if you tell me last year, oh, last year they were only selling for like 1 million, so you're still up, doesn't really help me, right? It was a bit of a rant, because it kind of upsets me sometimes when I see this kind of stuff, because it's very salesy, in my opinion, to be just, like cherry picking stats here and there. So my 3 tips, if you're thinking of buying or selling, either way, is number one, don't get bullied into signing anything. Because do a lot of research. A lot of information is available to the public. I try to put my sales bias aside when I make these market updates. So you can follow those. But like I said, don't believe me. Don't believe any other agent. You can do a lot of research on your own. Third thing is, you don't need to sign at this exact moment, because there's an old sales saying from the 1960s, 1970s. Is like, when's the best time to buy? Today. When's the best time to sell? Today. I don't know why that's still around, because some people, they still operate according to that. Like, so if somebody will be like, hey, I'm thinking of buying a house like in Mississauga, like, what should I do? Oh yeah, buy today, because the prices are going to skyrocket tomorrow. So if you need to buy or sell, take a breather. Like, research it. Like I said before, do a lot of research, because nothing is going to change overnight. Now, if you are thinking of selling and all you have to do is sell, and you're thinking, okay, should I sell now or should I wait 3 months? Then it's a different story, because if you see the way the market is going, probably it's going to be lower in 3 months. But like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can only make predictions based on stats. So that's the only time where you might be thinking, okay, maybe I should pull the trigger sooner than later. But it doesn't have to be today, is my point. It can be next week. It could be, 10 days. Take time, do a lot of research, and yeah, hopefully you're able to get a good deal when you're buying, and hopefully you can get a decent price when you're selling. Thanks. See you.